Привет из Украины! Hello from Ukraine! My name is Alexander Pakarmyaka. I'm filming this video on 14th of March. Ukraine stands for 19 days against the Russian invasion, and we were promised to be conquered within 48 hours. I will explain you the reason, what is going on and why Russia is not successful in our country. This is the first episode for the newly created YouTube channel that is called Real Ukraine. We will talk about the current situation, the past and the future steps of our country towards the democracy, freedom, and all things that we cherish. There are some very important facts that you have to keep in mind. First, Ukraine in comparison to Russia is 28 times smaller, but still it is the biggest country in Europe, covering the territory of 600,000 kilometers. The population of Ukraine in peaceful time was 40 million people. It is a highly industrialized country. The importance of Ukraine in sense of food supply for some countries in Europe and other countries outside of Europe is so big that Ukraine covers from 25 to 50% of total food supply in this country. So just consider that now this country is under the aggression. The other very important fact that Ukraine is highly industrialized country. In the period of Soviet Union, Russia and Ukraine acted together as a unique economy inside of the Soviet Union. So many highly advanced industries were created, like aircraft production, like jet engine production, like ballistic missile design and production, the nuclear power plant, energy generation. Ukraine is very rich in various mineral resources, but it's very rich in land that is very fertile and produces so much that is exported outside. If we put together the amount of food supplies that come from Russia and come from Ukraine, the global share will be about 30%. Just consider that if Putin would be successful to conquer Ukraine, he would get the access to the food supply, food production, that will create another very strong point for terroring people in whole the world. This is not the first time when Russia acts as an aggressor. The first time was during the Crimea being annexed. And in this period, Russia provoked the military conflict in the region of Donbass, creating a quasi-state that is not recognized by none of the other countries in the world. After 2014, Russia lost control and the supply on various strategical parts, components and devices that keep most of its military machine inoperable. Just for an example, Ukraine has developed and produced various amount of models of ballistic nuclear missiles. These nuclear missiles need to be serviced and maintained. They need spare parts that are produced in Ukraine, which Russia cannot get anymore. The same situation is related to the aviation, where Russia is not capable to produce the transportation military and not also aircrafts. They do not have the access to the jet engines that are used in helicopters and airplanes, and now these helicopters cannot be operable. We have a lot of examples of the same kind, and for this reason Putin is doing all he can to invade Ukraine, to get those resources and to reinforce its military machine, and the price is not relevant to him. He will throw people in this hell just to invade Ukraine, because he desperately needs to get those resources. As I said at the beginning of the video, we were expected to resist for only 48 hours, and Putin would expect that Ukrainian citizens would welcome his army, but this did not happen. He expected that our military would withdraw their weapons and surrender, and this did not happen. Now, every day, Russian military machine suffers from so much losses that it did not face these losses since the foundation of Russia, since the Second World War. Ukraine is resisting against the army so big that it was lastly seen 80 years ago during the Second World War. Still, they are not successful. If we are talking about the behavior of Russians at the beginning of this warfare, in the first days, we were attacked mostly by missiles, guided missiles, plus or minus precise weaponry. By understanding that this method is not successful, they started to destroy the cities. The cities they claimed to be Russians, where a lot of Russian people or Russian-speaking people are living or lived before this invasion, like Mariupol, like Kharkov, like Odessa, like Nikolaev. Those cities are generally speaking Russian, and by the way, there is no problem of speaking Russian in Ukraine, because I originally studied in a Russian-speaking school. I spoke generally Russian, even if Ukrainian is the main language for legal and government relations. So there were no problems at all. They used it as an excuse. Now the city of Mariupol, the city of 300,000 citizens, is encircled, and the Russians do not give them food supply, water supply, children are dying. They are bombarding the city, they try to devastate the city, and every day about 50 to 70 civilians are dying. You have to put in mind a very important thing, that Ukraine is not the final destination. Ukraine is only first step in the plan where Putin tried to reassemble or make another formation very similar to Soviet Union, which will threaten all the world by its unpredictable behavior, by its hunger for the invasion. In the future videos you will see and understand what is going on. You will understand better Ukraine, you will understand better Russia, you will understand better the possible options that we can expect in the nearest or far future. I'm sorry for my English, I will do my best to improve it. Still, thank you very much. Please subscribe and put the like. Bye.
Смерть ворогам!
Ракета летит на Васильков. Очень много ракет.